Good morning, and a good morning it is, because we're talking to Scott Schultz, General Manager at Clydes, and we're never going to leave. After the brief tour we were given this morning, how do you tell your story in just a couple of minutes, Scott? How do we do this?
Well, the easiest thing to go is that this is a property that opened in 2006, but it dates all the way back to the early 1700s with different rooms we have in this establishment. What's beautiful about the restaurant is we've taken four different structures to create the 7 unique dining rooms we have here. So everything dates from about 1705 to our newest structure on site, 1885.
And everywhere you look, the chandeliers, the beams, these objects of art, if I may use the term, they're the real deal.
Yeah, John Latham, who is one of our owners of the company, has a great eye for detail in the art world and really a vision in what he's going to do with his restaurants. The structure we're standing in now is an 1885 barn that he actually purchased over 25 years ago. We didn't open the restaurant until 3 years ago, but he knew at some point this was going to be a focal point in one of his restaurants, knowing that it just had such great feel, some openness. It's a great hand-sewn bar that came out of Vermont. It just really makes the restaurant really kind of pop in a big way.
And we're going to be going into the kitchen for a special treat. We're going to hang on for that. But before we get that far, I can describe, I guess, in a few words how I feel in here. Relaxed, I'm interested, my eyes keep wandering around the scenery. How do you want your clientele to feel in here?
We always love making our clients feel very comfortable in what they see. So even though it is a very large restaurant that seats over 500 people, you never really feel you're in that big of a space. The dining rooms are all divided up to smaller rooms, this being our largest room that on its busiest night would have 200 people in it. But the other rooms are like 50 to 60 people, so you can have quiet rooms, have areas where you can be. We have one dining room especially that people have enjoyed that is adults only. So that way when you do have a babysitter and you want to have a night out maybe without the kids, you can have a little quiet romantic dinner with a loved one.
And I'm not sure if we can really scan the horizons, but just wonderful objects in the murals. Just everywhere the eye looks, you find another piece of American history.
With everything, each room, as we say, is dated at its time period. Then we bought the antiques to make sure it complemented the room with that time period. So the room we're in has a lot of great country crafts, which are some great, I want to say, boxes and ceramics that all came from the 1880s. So it really ties into the feel of the room and kind of what we were trying to get when we put this structure together. It really gives that Middleburg farm idea when you kind of walk through here. The big roundabout when you come in, the nice stone facade, to really give you that feel that you're maybe in a beautiful mansion out in Middleburg.
And all this talk is kind of inspiring a little bit of hunger. But before we go to the kitchen, how do you match your menu with the decor?
Well, what we do with all of our Clydes is, since Clydes is a company that's been around since 1963, we have some items that everybody wants to try at each of the Clydes. So there's about 10 to 15 items that every Clydes carries. But then our chefs are artists, so we want them to be able to express themselves through their menus. So each of our chefs ends up creating different dishes in each of the restaurants. So our restaurant, we have 5 different talented chefs that come up with new items every week. So each day we're changing our menu based on what we get out of our own garden on site, which is about 2.5 acres of organic growing produce that we have here. So our farmer brings things in the morning. Our chefs look at that and go, wow, I can make this with it. So they'll come up with a dish right there on the spot to match that produce coming out of that farm that we have here, which makes a great added bonus for everybody.
Before they make any more changes, I think I'm going to head to the kitchen. So if you want to come along, which way?
We'll go that way.
Now our smartest guests have joined us in the kitchen because we have 3 important guests. We have Patrick Carroll, the sous chef, and he has a couple of special charges he's going to introduce for us. Yeah, what you got?
All right, this month at Clydes, we're doing our lobster. Our special guest today are Mrs. Lobster. Now, while cooking lobster, first of all, these guys are coming from Portland, Maine, flying in every day, so they're nice and fresh. You want to make sure when you have lobsters that they're jumping around, kicking around the board. Right now, I think they're a little bit camera shy, but they're very happy, very alive. Okay, and of course very fresh. All month of October we'll be doing a lobster special for $17.95 at Clydes. The more humane way of cooking lobster is to put it out of its misery before we put it in hot, seasoned boiling water. By doing that, I'm going to take my chef knife, drive it in through the head, into the brain, and that will kill it. It's a little more humane. But before we kill him, we're going to go over our lobsters. Our lobsters weigh 1 1/4 pound, and each lobster takes 8 to 10 minutes to cook in our seasoned boiling water. Here we have a female lobster. How do we know that? We know it because it's genitalia. Females are soft, all right? They have softer genitalia and looser genitalia. We also know their claws are a little smaller and their tails are a little wider. The reason why that is they have something called coral or roe eggs. The eggs will cook red when they're cooked all the way. Okay?
And that's going to taste good.
It's going to taste a lot better. You can pull them out, you can season them, you can put them in soups and sauces, whatever you like to do. The males are a little bit smaller, but the claws are much larger. Okay? You can see them pulling the rubber bands off. You don't want to, that's fine. But once you keep your hand in the back, they can't grab your hand. So don't be afraid of lobsters. All right? And again, the males, you can tell the male have a smaller tail, but the genitalia are long. Okay? No pun intended. So before we kill our lobster, all right, we're just going to drive the knife through its head ever so gently and very quickly. Alright, a quick pop, it's in his head, now he's dead. Alright, I'm going to take him, put him in seasoned boiling water for 8 to 10 minutes. Now you can also add herbs, whatever you like to, depends on what you want to do with your lobsters. But at Clyde's we just put a little bit of salted water and it works fine. Alright, this little bit is going to go away, so you don't need to kill too, right? Now, 8 to 10 minutes later, we're going to pull the lobster out. I have one community cooked off right here. Okay, that should come out red. Okay, the meat should be nice and firm, but not overcooked. If you overcook it, it's going to be very, very tough. So, for presentation, what I like to do is I just like to take a little lemon wedge, all right, and just kind of rub it over to get rid of any coagulated proteins on top of the lobster. All right, this will look a little nicer for your guests. All right, very quickly done. I then take my chef knife, and I can whack each side of the claws to expose the meat, or if you want to, you can just do the same thing, just pull the meat right out of the bones. Here we just simply cut into it, to the tail, expose the meat so it's a little easier for you to consume. And the same thing with our claws. Quick whack, a pop. Now our lobster's ready to consume. At Clyde's, we serve it with a side of French fries, coleslaw, lemon, and drawn butter. And again, that's all month of October until October 31st for $17.95. Enjoy.